Hello, you're watching Small Time TV. I'm Rochelle Flack, and thanks so much for joining us. Before we get underway, I want to speak quickly about the lands that we're on. The traditional owners of the Wurundjeri land, they are the traditional owners of this land, and really want to pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and also pay a special welcome to any Indigenous people who are joining us on the broadcast or joining us here at Small Time. Alrighty, so we have a very exciting guest today. Her name is Ruby Gill. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. So you've got a couple of songs to play for us.
Yes.
What are we going to start off with?
We are going to start off with a song called Anchor, and it's about being in a tumultuous period of your life and wishing things would... Are you allowed to swear on Small Time TV?
I actually don't know, so...
Don't know. Nobody in this room can give me an answer. Yes, excellent. It's about just wishing things could, slow the fuck down and give you some sort of solidity and grounding. It's called Anchor.
Cool.
Can we go?
Take it
Cool.
away.
Are we ready? Frozen in this river to the bone. You've been floating from a distance, force-fed and cold. We've been carried by the rhythm in our souls. Anchor me down the solid ground in silence by say my name, broken without clear intention. Who's to blame? You with all your clouds of silver find your way. Oh, anchor me down to solid ground in silence by Thank you. It's like a tiny little pitter-patter. Like everybody's clapping with their fingers. It's beautiful.
Just giving you the snaps.
Yeah. It's good.
Awesome. We'd love for you to play another song if you would like that.
Sure thing. This one, I used to live about 6 hours away from my mum. She was in a town about 6 hours from Johannesburg, and there were times where I just wanted to forget I was an adult, and I used to just drive those 6 hours and take off my shoes and skate down the passageway, even if she didn't want me to, And that was just the sort of epitome of feeling like a child again. So this song is about that. It just needs to be in the right tuning. So this is called Stockings for Skating. Oops, sorry. It's very hard to be me on live television. Ready? City lights are fading. I forgot to paint the waters black. The cracks in the pavement, I step back afraid of falling short and letting go. But take me dancing. This floor's been polished recently, and stockings skate our souls over iced lakes. And I wanna feel like a child. This is all that we have. You and me, and this fortress. This is all that we have. You and me, and this fortress.
hear the pitter-pattering in the background again. Yeah. Get all the snaps out for those. That was lovely. Thanks so much. I really felt the nostalgia in that track as well, you know, from when you spoke about it and really kind of came through with the lyrics. And
thanks. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I guess it's what you want.
It's the point.
I also want to shout out those beautiful harmonies as well.
Yeah, they're doing well. They're great. This is Billy. I don't know if the cameras can swing. Thank you. This is Billy Barker on the bass guitar. He actually built these shelves as well, in case anybody has anything they'd like to say about the shelves. And that's Winnie McQuinn on the drum kit.
Wonderful. Cool. Yep. Well, lovely to have you all in here. And I must say the carpentry is fabulous. Those shelves.
Thank you.
Gorgeous. Awesome. Well, those songs, would love to know, are they... you at the moment you formally only have one song out in the world.
That is correct.
Are these some sneak peeks of potentially something coming up?
Yeah, those two are off an album that we've just finished recording, which is very exciting. It took a long time. Some of those songs are like 7 years old, so I'm very glad to have it out of my system. We finished about a week and a half ago. We did all the sort of live tracking in a studio called Sound Park in Northcote. We worked with a man called Tim Harvey and his friend Marcel Barak, and they're just the most beautiful men in the whole world. It was really a lovely experience. We just all sat together for like 5 days until 11 p.m. every day and annoyed each other and sang music, and it was great.
That's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
You mentioned before that the album's taken some time to come together. You know, what's the reason for that? Has it just been the songs written over a long period of time or just different factors involved?
Yeah, I guess there's been a few things going on. I have a life outside music, which I guess is one factor that sort of puts a hold on things sometimes. I also sort of started fresh when I moved to Australia that was about 3 years ago now. And it took me a while to sort of find my feet again and find out what this industry was about and what kind of things I could do here and who I was again, because moving countries and stuff really changes you as a person, obviously. So, yeah, it took me a while personally just to be okay with making music like that again. But also, I released Your Mum, which is that single that's on the internet, in 2018, and that was sort of a fluke. I actually just recorded it with Bill and his friend Harry in Harry's bedroom, and it was a demo basically, and Harry and Bill did such a good job of it, and I just loved it, so I put it out there, but I hadn't sort of actually thought very far ahead about what that, like didn't have anything to follow it up with or whatever, and then that sort of worked, and I didn't know what to do next, so it took me a while to just I guess work up the courage to go into a more formal process of doing it and to doing it with the right people and everything. But once I met Tim and this band, it was pretty easy to just believe in it all again and put it all together.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was cool.
I do want to talk a little bit more about your mum, because the words meteoric have been thrown around. I mean, to kind of, to take you back to 2018, you released a song, you didn't, it was just kind of popped it out. It didn't have this big plan behind it. And then things started really taking off. Like, what was your mindset at the time? Like, what was going through your brain? Like, how were you responding to this?
I was stoked. I mean, that was my dream. That's always been my dream, is to just be able to play shows and go around singing the same song every night. And I really, I love singing that song and I believe in it and I meant every word of it. So it wasn't hard for me to sort of put myself and my personality behind it. And, it felt pretty natural. I still had... Like I say, I still work a full-time job and I still have a whole existence beyond that. So it was hard learning to balance touring and doing stuff whilst still just trying to keep my head straight and go home each night and eat and do those kinds of things. So that was a big learning curve for me. But it was a beautiful time. I got to see a lot of this country. Just in terms of the touring that I did after that. It's been really good to let that song go a little bit as well and play new things and write new things and forget that was, that's the only one out there.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of your songwriting is quite personal, and I mean that track is very personal. How do you feel about putting such personal emotions out in the world? Like, do you feel somewhat separated from it, or is it still kind of hard to be singing those words sometimes?
Yeah, it's weird, but I don't really know another way. I don't know how to write things that aren't like from very deep inside me. I'm not very good at lying or anything, hiding my emotions. So I guess that part's natural. The part that comes after once it's out in the world is sometimes a bit tricky, like because I write about real things that have happened. And actually the next song that I was going to play today is about my parents getting divorced, and that kind of topic is hard because those are real people, and I have to sometimes explain to them or whatever that it's the most extreme version of that emotion and that story, because it's the part I needed to get out of me and process the most. It's also influenced by other people's stories and other people's experiences and the sort of similar topics out there in the world. And they've all come together in this expression for me, but it doesn't mean that it's all true to the word. So sometimes that's a bit hard because I don't want to hurt people, but I do want to express the sort of darkest thing inside me, which is sometimes hard, especially for like your parents or people very close to you to hear. But I think it's an important thing that you're able to do that, and that the people who are on the other end of those songs or whatever support you through that, because otherwise we wouldn't have honest music in the world, and I wouldn't have my favorite songs if those people hadn't decided that it didn't fucking matter who heard that was that thing about that person or whatever. Nobody knows the real story anyway. But yeah, it's a weird balance sometimes.
Yeah. So you mentioned a little bit earlier that you moved to Australia a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It must have been such a challenge, moving from one continent to another and a whole different, coming into a whole different community and network. How did you finding your feet in this new place and, finding a new community around you?
Well, it was hard. I mean, it was exciting and beautiful, and it was alive in ways that I hadn't felt alive before, because everything was a surprise and an adventure. But at the same time, I think I've only just found my community, which is 3 years down the track, and I've only just felt sad at the thought of leaving, or it's taken me a long time to feel familiar and comfortable. You never lose the foreignness in you, I don't think. You still feel like an outsider a lot of the time. I do, and I know a lot of other people do too. But it's a really safe and beautiful city to be doing that in. I've felt very welcome and very allowed to just be myself and to fuck up and to do things my way and just figure things out, which has been really beautiful. I don't know a lot of places where you can just carry on doing things without anybody telling you to stop. Yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And it does take a lot of time to find a community, so it's really wonderful.
Also, we're adults. Like, making friends as adults is
so hard.
It's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. It's not a case of like going up to someone and being like, "Hey, we're friends now."
No,
I wish it was though.
Sometimes I do that.
Yeah.
But would you like to be my friend?
I would love to.
Great.
Would you like to be my friend?
Sure thing.
Beautiful. Small time.
Done. Great.
Small time. It is a hub for community, and as a friendship, another friendship that's just come out of it.
They can rack us up on the statistics page.
Love it.
Do they have one?
Check another one off.
No.
Well,
nobody knows anything.
Awesome. Back to the note of community, it is obviously a really important part for a lot of artists.
Yeah.
What's some advice? Obviously, you went through the challenge of building a new community. How did you go about making those new connections? I think that could be really valuable advice for, young artists coming up and trying to find their network.
Yeah, that was a tricky thing. I think I've always been pretty extroverted on the outside, and I'm able to reach out to people, and I think that's important. And you just have to sort of believe that they're going to have a conversation with you, and it doesn't matter if they don't. And I had to just be brave in ways that I probably didn't feel like being brave a lot of the time. But people were very welcoming most of the time and very willing to help or point you in the right direction or be your friend and go for coffee every week or whatever. The other thing is just time. Just takes a lot of doing it again and again and just going to gigs and playing music with new people and experimenting and also not being afraid to cut people loose when it doesn't serve you. And I found I think you come in very desperate sometimes to make that community, and then you just lean into whatever comes first, sort of like marrying the first person you date type scenario. No offense if anyone's done that, because I'm sure it's great, but I didn't do that. But yeah, you just sort of like have to call it when it's not good for you and be like, I can do this again. I've done it 3 times before, I'll do it again. So I had to learn to say no a little bit, which was hard. But also just trust people. I watched a movie, I can't remember what movie it was, but one of the lines was just like, how do you trust a person? And she responded and she was like, you just trust them. And I'm terrible at that, but that's the sort of approach I had to take, where I was just like, I don't know who the fuck this person is. They're foreign, they've had a whole different life to me. I have to let go of my sort of fear of them and just be like, okay, well, I'm going to talk to you all day. Hope you don't mind.
That's really great advice, and I think something that we can all definitely give a try of, give a go. Yeah.
And then be careful, because people are scary.
That's true. Everything in moderation, yes. Isn't that what they say?
That is what they say.
Awesome. Well, it's been wonderful chatting, and
thanks, Rochelle Flack.
Oh, well, thank you, Ruby Gill.
Nice to be your friend now.
It's nice to be friends.
Great.
Can I make a friend request?
Sure.
I'd love to see another couple of songs from you.
Absolutely. As your friend, I shall oblige. I'm going to do this one alone. Sorry, boys. This one, I have to just retune my guitar. That's not on. This is the song about divorce. If my mum's watching, I'm sorry, but you'll be fine, and I'm fine actually. And if anyone else is watching that is divorced, it's not your fault. It's not about you. I played at Port Fairy Folk Festival on the weekend, and I played this song for the first time live because it's very new. And a teenage boy came up to me afterwards with his mum, and he was like, thanks so much for saying those things and for writing that song, because I'd never been able to hear it expressed in a song or whatever. And I was so taken aback and very grateful that he'd come up to me and been brave enough to even just say that. And his mum turned around and she was like, the divorce hurt me too, you know, and then like ran away from him. And I just thought that was the worst way for her to react ever. But yeah, don't do that. It's all relative. Anyway, I'm just trying to tune my guitar. That's why I'm talking so much. It's called Joint Custody. This ain't a fight, we're just talking. You'll see your mother again in the morning. But could you put yourself to bed? I've got some things to drink out of my head. Oh, please fight over me. Who gets me this Christmas? Who pays for my school fees? Who tells me I'm in trouble? Who puts me at ease? Oh, I'm tired of the counting. I'm tired of seeing double. Who tells me I'm in trouble, who tells me I'm in trouble. I'm tired of seeing double. Well, baby, I bought you a suitcase. You can invite me to all of your school plays, and I won't arrive. I won't arrive. Don't worry, I'm gonna pay for your therapy as long as you promise me one thing. You'll hate your father. You'll hate your father. Oh, please fight over me. Who gets me this Christmas? Who pays for my school fees? Who tells me I'm in trouble? Who puts me at ease? Oh, I'm tired of the counting. I'm tired of seeing double. Who tells me I'm in trouble? Who tells me I'm in trouble? I'm tired of seeing double. Who tells me I'm in trouble? Oh, 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 Thank you. Thanks. Cool.
Cool.
One more.
One more.
Excellent. Thanks so much for having us here. Thanks to everyone behind the perspex. You will not get my illness, whatever it is. It's a joke. Everyone's fine. Hey? What does that mean? Oh, I clicked the thing. Thanks, Bill. This last song is about being angry all the time. I think we live in a complicated world, and sometimes anger is an okay emotion to feel. I didn't think that for a long time. I thought I had to feel depressed instead, but now I just feel angry. So this is about that feeling. It's potentially the title track of the album. It's definitely on the album. I just, don't have anything yet. Okay, it's called I'm Gonna Die With This Frown on My Face. Oh, hang on. We've lost power again. Great. I'm gonna die with this frown on my face. They're gonna lower me down, asking why I've been this angry all of my days, even when you came around, and I don't have the answers. No, I've been this way ever since I was a child, out on the back streets of Joburg, shifting my gaze, finding my way through the fight, and no one had the answers. But can you forgive me, life, for skipping town and holding things on with this frown? Yes, you can cry if you want, that's okay. This ain't a time to be strong. You don't want all of that anger scrunching your face in case the wind comes along. Oh, not everything's out to get you. Not every worry is right. I know you're your father instilled in you some kind of fear. You need to learn to walk a little lighter, a little lighter, and forgive me, Lord, for bringing you down and holding things on with this frown. Amen, 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 Thanks very much.
Thanks so much for coming in. That was absolutely stunning.
Thanks for having me.
It's been our absolute pleasure. Thanks for tuning in to Small Time TV. We'll see you next time.